heck of a lot of fun, Jeanne Robertson. Oh, she's a heck of a lot of fun, Jeanne Robertson.
And we're going to have a heck of a lot of fun here this morning. This is Jeanne Robertson, and I'm on my back porch again. And y'all, believe it or not, this is the 29th week we've had this show. I remember saying I'd do it 4 or 5 weeks till the COVID was over. That's not happening. I think last week I told y'all that it was the 27th week, but I forgot the 2 weeks we had to do it once on Thursday and one time on Friday. We've got a lot of things planned today, but we have to bump them all in space because somebody just came by and can only stay for 2 or 3 minutes. He has other places to go. Would you welcome one of my grandsons, Ryder? Would you come over here, Ryder? All right, Ryder, have a seat. I mean, we don't want to bother you or anything. You got your mask down. You're socially in here. Y'all might remember Ryder because when he was a little boy, I guess it was on my 2nd or 3rd DVD, we decided we would give away a pound cake to somebody in the audience. And he was just a little boy. And we put him out there and he was supposed to bring the cake. And then while I was on stage doing the whole show, and at the end of the show, he's supposed to do the pound cake. You came down front. And then Beaver and your brother, great, y'all changed what they said. Do this. It'll be funny. It wasn't funny, was it?
No, not at all.
Not at all. And you looked at me like, I didn't do this. They told me to say this. It was something about your name is Ryder, named after a truck. And then you said something about, I said, now what's your name, little boy? Pretending like I didn't know you. And you said.
And I said, U-Haul.
U-Haul. And I just stared at you. And everybody knew. I didn't know that you were going to say U-Haul. So you're now in Arlington, Virginia, and best of news. Da, 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 da. He has a job. He has a real job, a good job.
Oh, yeah.
And do you like it up there?
Yeah, I really enjoy it. Like being close to DC too. And, been up there close to a year now. So it's been nice.
You're not getting into politics.
Not at all.
Not at all. No, don't even think about that up there. But you came by here today and I said, well, wait a minute. Your brother, this is unusual for you to be here. And your brother's at Elon. But apparently it was Friday night and he's still asleep and he isn't over here. So not yet. Well, it's 12 o'clock. So I would suggest that the next time you're coming back, could you let me know in advance?
Of course.
And then we'll line him up and I'll have my 2 grandsons on. Will that work for you?
Sounds perfect.
Okay. How's your dad, Beaver, doing?
He's doing well. I know we're pulling hard for Auburn tonight. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just getting ready for the Auburn, Georgia game.
I'm sure he's already started cooking. He fancies himself a cook.
Oh, yeah.
And all of that. But, and y'all all do now. So that's good with me. But I love you. You know that.
Love you
so
too.
Thanks for dropping by.
Yeah, no
okay.
problem.
Now you stay safe.
Yes, ma'am.
Put that mask on when I sound like a grandmother now, don't I? Okay. Yeah. Put the mic on the floor. Don't trip on it. And I'll talk to you later. No problem. Okay. Thank you for having me. And well, 2 minutes. Thanks, Ryder. No problem. He said, I didn't dress up at all. And Norma Rose said, I didn't either. Ha, ha, ha. But thanks. We're starting something new this week. And I announced it on Thursday. We're on the porch. And Patrick is here, of course. And then Tony is in the back on the computer. If a question pops in your mind you want to ask. And we have filled up the yellow bucket. And we are ready to ask your questions, and we'll try to do as many as we can. And yes, we have a pop-in guest in a little while who didn't get to sit the place she wanted to sit or that y'all thought she should sit. She was happy where she was last week, and that's Norma Rose. But we're instigating, a new thing, and it is called, we instigated show and tell last week, and so I've got a few things there that y'all have asked about. And the second is we're going to have, are you ready, Patrick, for your big, you created a graphic. Ready? It's not saying. Throwback questions. And here's what happened. Y'all, so please, we'll get it right. The problem is that y'all say things to me and ask questions, and I think, oh, I've answered that 3 or 4 times, and I don't want to answer that again. But then y'all started to write to me and say, but Jeannie, I wasn't listening in March or April or May, and I won't, excuse me, y'all. Oh, I know, excuse me. And I wasn't listening in those months, and I don't know how you got in the business or this or that or the other. So we're going to take a couple of questions, excuse me, every week. And I'll tell you. And today's first throwback question is, and y'all ask it all the time, bye, Ryder. Love you, honey. You stayed duly long enough. The question is, how, and you ask me all the time, Jeannie, how did you get into this? You know, some of you even say, I have funny stories. I don't know how in the world you get on the stage. How did this all come about? So the quick version is that in 1963, I was a junior at Auburn University in Alabama. They do play Georgia tonight. And I came home one weekend with my roommate, Sissy, and I entered the Miss Graham beauty pageant. I entered because the JCs in Graham asked me to enter. They had asked me when I was a senior in high school, and I got so excited. At 6'2", I never thought about being in anything like that. And when I mentioned it to my mother and daddy, they said, don't you have to have talent? And I said, well, I think so. And I didn't have any. Then they called down to Auburn when I was a freshman and said, will you enter it this year? You understand, you had to win a small town pageant to get to the Miss North Carolina pageant. And about the time this was happening, I was watching on TV one summer and saw the only young woman from North Carolina who has ever become Miss America, Maria Bill Fletcher, just tap dance her feet off in the talent competition. She was a Rockette, and she became Miss America. And I thought, oh my gosh. And she was from North Carolina, and she got up there and tap danced. So my freshman year at Auburn, I said no, because I was very busy at Auburn, and I did not have any talent my freshman year either. But I thought I'll get some talent. And sure enough, my sophomore year, the JCs called again and said, would you enter now? Mother and daddy said, we don't think at 17, a high school senior, you would have a chance anyway. You might win Miss Graham, but you won't go further. So I then had a talent. Over Christmas holidays, I had gotten a ukulele. A lot of, at that time we were called co-eds at Auburn got them. It was the rage. And I wrote a little song. And at that point, I said, well, I'll sing an original song. Came home. 6 of us were in the pageant. We all knew each other. We'd gone to high school together. We almost just said, let's draw for it. But no, we didn't. And we had the pageant. And when it was over, I was Miss Graham and Miss Congeniality out of the 6 of us. And that put me in the Miss North Carolina pageant. Then I won that too. There were 84 contestants in that pageant. That means 84 towns in North Carolina. The JCs who sponsored it then had a pageant and had a winner and were sending expenses paid these young women to this wonderful week. And I won that. Then I went to the Miss America pageant. I did not win. If I had won that, we would start this every week by saying former Miss America, but I was not. But pageants take a lot of criticism. I know there are people out there shaking their heads saying, I can't believe she would ever do something like that. Some of that criticism is deserved, but a lot of it is not. And for me, the young woman who was Miss North Carolina dropped out of college for a year. They're not in college. They've graduated. They usually have to take a sabbatical from their jobs. But you drop out of school for a year and you just start traveling the state. And when the dust settled a year later, I had made more than 500 speeches. And it had taken me about a week to figure out that if I could be funny, the people laughed and seemed to like it a lot, and I loved it. And so I developed a reputation. I crowned the next Miss North Carolina, Sharon Finch, and the following week, I spoke at 3 conventions in North Carolina, and I thought, wow, they paid me $50. Woo! The big money was here. And by the way, on all of those speeches as Miss North Carolina, I was paid for each one of them, not like they're paid today. The going rate was $35 a speech plus 9 cents a mile. And it just grew and grew and grew. And I went back to Auburn. I graduated. I taught 9 years, loved teaching, but the invitations just poured in and I was doing no marketing. And when people started asking me to come places that I couldn't get back from and teach the next day, Left Brain, my supportive husband, said, you ought to just stop teaching, honey, and just give speaking a try. I'm not saying that you have to have a spouse or a partner in speaking, but if you have a job where you travel all the time and you get back later than you thought because the planes didn't run on time, and it happens all the time, then you have to have somebody that's supportive. And he's the one who said to me, you ought to really try this. I have been speaking. My first paid speech was, you asked this question too, was July in Fayetteville, North Carolina in 1963. So I've now been speaking about 57 years. And then about 11 years ago, I was approached by people in Nashville who said, you've gone viral a couple of times on YouTube, and we think you can sell tickets to theater shows. And that's what I was mainly booked to do for the rest of the year when the COVID hit. How about the convention business, Patrick? You get many conventions left?
What's that? I've heard of that.
The conventions, everything got wiped out for our business. And so we just decided we would figure another way to do things. I hope that answers the throwback questions. And I'm a very work-oriented person. I write my own material and I get a thrill out of that. That's my hobby. So by not telling old jokes, I got an early jump with the pageant into the speaking world, and been active in the National Speakers Association and was even president. So that answers that question of how did you get into this? And I hope that answered it well. The next question today, the other throwback question would be.
Somebody's afraid that bowl's about to fall off the table.
Which bowl?
It's not. It's a reflection.
Which bowl do y'all want me to move? Oh, okay. Well, look, for long, y'all, I know you must have been bored. Let's look around the room and see what we can see that's going on. Okay. The other one and the last Patrick, well, I'm going to tell who Patrick is. And then we have a lot of these. Why did you name your son Beaver? This is going to be fun to do these throwbacks. But Patrick Henry, I knew him when he was a little boy. I joined a group of 5 speakers, all 4 men, and they invited me in, and we were all humorists. And his daddy, Robert Henry, one of the funniest people you will have ever met, was the one that really got me into the group. And what we did was, we didn't know what we were doing. Every time we gave a speech, and the meeting planner would say, you really did a good job. I don't know what I'm going to do next year. We'd say, well, wait a minute. I've got a brochure about 4 of my friends here. I suggest you call one of them. So that means if you're sitting in Alamance County, North Carolina, and that night and not working at all, 4 other speakers could be giving you good recommendations. And that's how I met Patrick when he was a little boy. We were all members of the National Speakers Association. I'm going to look at that other camera now, Patrick. My neck got a crick in it. See, we have 2 cameras. Don't we have 3? Okay. I just didn't want to know where the money was going. So the National Speakers Association, now listen to this because you won't believe it. The National Speakers Association has a youth program. The theory is speakers travel all the time, and therefore you hate to leave your family and your kids for another week in the summer. So why don't we take them to what are you going to say? You picked up your mic.
I was about to say, people ask me all the time, how do you stand to be away from your kids so much? And it's not that hard. I got to be honest.
I know it's not that hard. You have 3. It's not that hard. But Patrick was put in the youth program. And the year I was president, they gave me the presidential suite. So I said to Tony, I'm taking, Beaver's going to go. Jeannie, my niece, is going to go. Why don't you bring Tony? You bring your daughter, Leslie, your son, Andy. We're going to all go to the speakers con. And we were just like the hillbillies coming out to the convention in Arizona in this big presidential suite. Remember, we had a player piano and we had our own swimming pool. Oh, it was unbelievable. Well, our kids were the same age as Patrick Henry's kids, Brent and Patrick. Robert. I can't get them all straight, but they were all the same age. And because the parents were hanging out together, the kids started hanging out together and they became good friends. When my niece Jeannie got married in North Carolina, Patrick came and sang at her wedding. They were really good friends and good friends with Leslie, Tony's daughter. Fast forward, the only youth couple to have met in the youth program at the National Speakers Association and married would be Patrick and Leslie. And Leslie's not here today because it's Saturday and all the kids do different things. And she's doing that, and she teaches yoga, and she teaches at Elon University also. So when we realized last spring, Patrick and I have always sat on the porch and say, hey, I've got an idea. Let me run it by you. And Patrick will say, Jeannie, that's the oldest word in the book. You can't use that word. And I would say to him, you can't use the one you used in that story over there. That's awful, Patrick. And so we would help each other and write stories. And then all of a sudden, last year, whammo, Norma Rose and I were in Texas for shows. Norma, where were we? Houston, Crockett, College Station. We were visiting there. We came home. We were glad to get back to North Carolina, and the speaking world was over. So no shows, no conventions. So Patrick and I just said, well, let's just start something else. And the next week we started doing these back porch stories. And we don't know whether to call them shows. They're not really shows, and y'all send the questions, and that's what keeps it going. And I've had a lot of people who've come on, and at the end of the show today, I'll tell you who's coming on next week. But we've had a lot of people who've done guest appearances, and some weekends we just do it right here. But Patrick, anything else? That's how I know Patrick Henry. And people think you're my son. I said, no, that's not Beaver.
Tell that story about when we were in the swimming pool and my dad called the room.
Oh, y'all were in the big private hot tub, and we were asleep in our room in the jacuzzi at the convention. And did we call your dad? No, I called your dad and I said, Robert, are you aware that your sons are in the presidential suite where we have a big jacuzzi and everything, and they're in the pool? It's 2:30 in the morning with our kids from North Carolina. And your daddy said, and I'm going back to sleep. He didn't care. He said, I'm glad we know where they are, and hung up the phone. So we've always been like family. And so I'm lucky with all the stuff that we've tried to work out here, because at my age, I do not know how to do this stuff. And Patrick's lucky too, because it's given him some exposure, and he has written 20 some songs and he's playing them. And now on Thursday or Friday nights, he has a 15-minute pop up of his own. I try to do the equipment, and we're just having fun. So those are the 2 throw up questions for those of you who were not part. What did I say? Throw up? Well, that's why we had so much fun. Throw up. No, I said throw up questions. Hey, if y'all don't care, I don't care. We're just having fun here. And so now what we're going to do quickly, Tony, is we're going to give a couple of prizes. And where's my yellow bucket? Everybody in the room jump up and find the yellow bucket. Go down to my office. Go back and look at.
This is what you need for prizes.
I know it. All right. This is what I do for prizes. And the prizes are, I think he left me on that camera. I just wish y'all, this is another nice thing about this relationship between Patrick and Jeannie. I said, where's the yellow bucket? And Patrick jumped up and he's run down to the office. All right. You have a choice here. You have a choice of my new book, Don't Bungee Jump Naked, and other important stuff. Here comes a yellow bucket. Or you can have one of my DVDs. I have 9 of them, and you can have one of those. Or you can have Patrick's CD. If you've won something before, or if you have ordered, he's got a CD that has 19 of his tracks, I think, are on it. So
Yours is also available as CDs.
CDs. Oh, yeah, that's right. Mine are CDs and DVDs. And I have 9 you can choose from. Some people have them all and they get them for gifts. So it's up to you. First person right here to win a prize today is throw up. Can you believe that? Okay. Doris Des Rosiers. Here's Tony. CDES.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rosie.
All right. Now here's what you do if you win a prize. You call or you email Tony at JeanneRobertson.com. Do you have it up
Put your
there?
name up.
Okay. Here's the name going up. And you tell her what you want and how to get it. And she will. All right. Here's another prize. I always turn my head. I don't want y'all to think I'm cheating in any way. This is another prize. Okay. And this is Carol Sue. Don't you love it? One word. Carol Sue Scott. So Carol Sue, you get to make a choice of what you want today. And now I'm going to your questions. And boy, Heidi, that's what my daddy used to say. Boy, Heidi, did y'all ask some good questions? I don't know if I'm going to pull one out right now, but we'll give it a shot. Here we go. Brett Cowell, how do you send a question for the bucket? Well, Brett, you figured it out because you just type it in on the thing right here. Oh, here are all these people. You just type it in. We get up, we run every question off. Let me tell you this. I cannot respond. Sometimes there's way over 1,000 people who write each week. And I just have tried and I can't, but I will guarantee you that I read every one of them because somebody sends some nice information or important. Yes, Tony.
If they're not on Facebook and they're watching on YouTube, they can also send questions to email.
Okay.
If they email them to us, we get them. I get them to you. So
And my email is
at Tony at Jeanne Robertson.
okay. All right. Here's another question right here. We're going to go through as many as we. Okay. War Eagle. Rosemary McMahon. Several weeks ago, I'm not supposed to tell people happy birthday, but 12 of Rosemary's friends were together in Auburn. And it was the day somebody was here.
It was September 12th.
12th. I'm not sure, but I forgot why I got so excited. I said, I'm not supposed to say happy birthday, Rosemary. But what I wanted to say was, and I didn't know this one would come up again. We started off as Auburn as freshmen. We were both physical education majors. And then we were both sophomores together in all the physical education classes. And then I became Miss North Carolina and dropped out a year. So when I came back as a junior, she was a senior. When I became a senior, she had a job in Auburn teaching physical education in junior high school. And I practice taught under Rosemary McMahon. It's kind of funny. We were such good friends and we had a ball. Next question is Kathy Triplett Scott. Jeannie, my parents are from North Carolina. The phrase I Swanee could use some definition. They both used it. I would like to use it sometime. Makes my mom smile. I don't know. My parents always said I Swanee. I think it's a person around your parents and you don't want to curse. So you just say I Swanee and something else. And our last name was Swanner. Daddy used it all the time. Let us know if you ever heard your parents say I Swanee. And it could be something with the Swanee River. I don't know if you know where that phrase comes from. So let us know. Here is another question. This is fun. Waiting in the queue is Norma Rose. Waiting in the queue is Patrick. Okay, Bonnie Spears. Have the Nashville people considered video conferencing or a video setup similar to Dr. Phil's for your corporate folks? Okay, Bonnie, what that would be is a viral speech. We have had a lot of calls for a viral speech.
Virtual.
What did I say? Viral? I went, but I went viral. Don't you remember? Because the little boy said across the street, Ella says, Mama, don't come out of the house. Mama says you're viral, Miss Robertson. Okay. What you're talking about is a virtual show. We've been asked to do numerous. I guess I'm in the hesitation. We had something else in the queue that I'll tell you about, but I don't hear any laughter. See, right now, I've told y'all this before, to say something that you think I would say that I said throw up on purpose, but I didn't. But y'all laughed at that too. I just know you did, but I can't hear anybody laughing. And when you do a speech and you're a humorist, it's a little tougher. Of course, we go another year and we have no work at all. I don't know what I'll do, but I know exactly what you're talking about, and we are discussing that all the time. However, stay tuned. We may have, like pay-per-view in boxing, we may have a live show with a half-full audience. So where people get a ticket and bring in 10 people and you all watch the show. We're working on a lot of things. By the way, that was another thing I had on my notes to say today. If you've got any ideas of what we can do here after 29 shows that would be fun, somebody has written in and said, why don't you let 2 people win the right to sit back there with Tony and watch you on the porch and all that? Well, we'd have to check your temperature and all that kind of stuff. But that's a possibility, but we can't fly people here. It'd have to be local people that would do that. So we're interested in anything that y'all think would make this fun and of interest to you. Okay, another question is from Rebecca Diary Bush. Did the girl with the baton win the beauty contest? No, she did not win. But that shows me or leads me to one of my show and tells. Years ago, 1992 maybe, I started telling the baton story in 73. And Bell South had a big meeting down in Georgia, and I was the speaker. And they got a glass blower. Can you get this? Well, can they see the glass? You might have to put it way up there. That's a glass baton. Come up here, Tony, and help me out. And on it, it says the Bell South. And they wanted to give me this copy of the glass baton. I can't believe it hasn't broken in all these years. Well, we see Tony, but we can't see the baton. There you go. Look, can you see it? It's gorgeous. And then they had one for the winner. And the story of the baton story is that she didn't give up. She kept trying. And they wanted to give an award that symbolized somebody in their company that did the same thing. That is one of my show and tells. Y'all ask me specifically, what had I ever been given after a speech that was a little unusual? And I think I have shown this way back at the beginning of the show. I felt that this was a little unusual. This is what is called a bull chip, or a cow chip out in a field. Or if there, I don't think this would offend any small children. This is a turd, T-U-R-D. And it is not made out of paper mache. They wait till these things get hard down in Texas. And this town is a place called Deaf Smith County. And this was their Chamber of Commerce banquet. And they gave me an honorary member of this. And I think, now I don't know about y'all, but I think that's a rather odd gift. But can you see it up there? That's the real thing. They didn't make it out of paper mache. I'm so proud how a cow made that. And then they dry them and do all of that. And the last show and tell, y'all all asked, what is that thing on the middle of the top of your desk back there? And it is an eagle. And so everybody, I just almost broke the baton. I almost hit the glass baton. I did hit the glass baton with this eagle, but it's very pretty. The catch is, it's not an Auburn eagle. Which camera am I on, Patrick? It's not an Auburn eagle. Yeah, hold it up there. It's not an Elon University Phoenix. I'm on the trustees of Elon, and they have the Phoenix. I think that was given to me when I was Boy Scout Man of the Year. Don't you? And it was gorgeous. And I thought, well, it looks like Auburn. It looks like, but it's from Eagle Scouts. Isn't that neat? Okay, that's all of those for the day. Well, let me know the timeline. Here's another question. Get ready to do more prizes. And now here we go. Okay. Okay, from Cat Carpenter Baines. Can't wait for you to come back to Myrtle Beach for a show. I know who you are. I think that you have a place at the Apache Campground in Myrtle Beach also. We've not met. And that your daughter or granddaughter is at Elon. It hadn't been quite the same at Elon. You haven't been over there all fall like usual. I look forward to meeting her. And she mentions the Myrtle Beach show. Myrtle Beach has been very nice to me. We've gone in August 2 or 3 times and have sold out. Last time we went, there was a hurricane. Everybody had to evacuate on Thursday, and they came back on Saturday for the show. And I hope to be there again very soon. They're good people. Lots of people from around the whole nation coming in. Another question is, Margaret Lane Kinney, I still want to know, what is your favorite suggestion from Jane Tucker? Okay, I'll tell you one that she didn't mention and I didn't either. When she came the first time, I said, here's all my clothes. I put them out all over the bedrooms. Do you remember how messy it was, Norma, with all those clothes everywhere? And Jane said, the first thing let's do is you go pull me out the 5 outfits you know you look good in and you love wearing. And I said, well, some of these are from high school. And she said, I have realized that. But you go just pull out the 5, not the ones you paid the most for, and they're sitting in there, but you don't wear them at the last minute. Let me see those 5 outfits. And y'all, I took a lot of time and I pulled 5 outfits and they were the same style. And Jane said, if everybody will do that, then they'll know what to get themselves if you want to know the truth. You got something to say?
There are quite a few people who are terrified that glass baton is going to fall.
Well,
so
you
just
know,
move
I am
it to
too.
the center.
Well,
There you
Norma,
go.
would you take this for me? You look so well dressed and everything. Put it on the center of that big table, because 1992 to 202, 212, 28 years I've had that, something like that. Okay, let me give a couple, and then Patrick, will you sing your song? And then we have our special guests for today. All right, here's a couple of prizes. This is to, what do we, holy cow. If y'all are having half as much fun as we are. Okay, Michael Manning. Hello from Asheville, North Carolina. I'm assuming North Carolina because you didn't put where. Michael, you have won your choice of the various and sundry items that we offer here for your, and now I'm going to reach in and I'm going to get another one. I like to move my hand around so y'all don't think it's a fix. All right, here we go. Sharlene. Oh, Sharlene Gugliellardio.
Really?
Yes. Sharleen. Here's her last name. Woo, Sharlene, I hope you're excited. Guagliardo. And she's watching from Tampa, Florida. Congratulations. So, Patrick, you get ready to sing. I'm going to give away the 5th item today. That's the name. Norma Roseby getting ready. Warming up. You've been ready. She said, I'm born ready. Patrick, you get ready. And you've even got a mic stand this week, right? So I don't have to hold it. Last prize right now from Phoenix. Sherry, Sherrie McBrayer. Sherry, I had some relatives from Dothan, Alabama named McBrayer. You got relatives, and do you have money if you do? Okay, she's one. Phoenix, but she's from Phoenix. Okay, and I've asked you to sing this song today, so if you could, you take over and set yourself up. Do you need help? All right, I'm going to stand up a minute. Cut mine off. Ladies and gentlemen, Patrick Henry.
Well, hey, everybody. Glad to be back and trying to get my microphone set so we can be heard this time. I'm playing a song that some of you have heard before, and I want to give a special shout out to Ann Walker, who I see is watching. Good friend. We spent a lot of times around Lake Murray and Chapin, South Carolina, playing music and singing songs. Here's a song that I wrote that Jeannie and Tony asked for today. Standing on the bank of the river, 12 years old, my friends daring me to swim across. Took my clothes off, hit the water running. Halfway I knew I'd reached the point of no return, and I can still hear the sound of my friends laughing at me. They pulled me into the boat, bug-naked, coughing and gasping for some air to breathe. I got caught in the middle and I couldn't get back. 15 years old, sitting in history class, wrestling with the boredom, felt the tap upon my back. Benji Mayfield passing me a note for Sarah, X's and O's all over his true love letter. I can still feel Mr. Baker's eyes burning through me. And I can still keep Sarah smiling when I had to stand up before the whole class and read. I got caught in the middle and I couldn't get back. Ain't it funny how a mean tree just an end? It's a road overrun with hills and turns. Outcomes turn out differently than when we first began. So strap in, go fast, and hold on through the turns. Yeah, 30 years old, me and Sarah married. Got a little girl, Caroline, we call her Carrie. Walking through the park, hand in hand with my two ladies. Man, life sure is good, no ifs and buts or maybes. I can still see Sarah smiling at me. Surrounded by my family, I now understand why being in the middle is the best place to be. I got caught in the middle, ain't never going back. Yeah, yeah, sweet Caroline.
Woohoo!
All right. Thank y'all.
I like the part where you beat on the guitar and go.
You can do that.
Yeah, well, I probably could. I'd probably get the beats mixed up, but that's okay. Now y'all understand why this family needs a left. Where's the Bible words? Oh, here it is. This family needs a left brain person, and we got one for sure, and he's a good one. Okay, so I'm going to ask another question, and then Norma, will you be coming over here and getting ready? You got yourself right now. She's been here since noon, so she's a little bit ticked off. She's because first she thought you were going to get introduced, and then up came Ryder, and there you go. All right, here's a question though, because we asked you to send them. I'm trying to get as many in as we can. Okay. Evelyn Andrews from Hendersonville, North Carolina. A lot in here from North Carolina today. I don't know. They're usually a lot of places. Just wondering. Oh my gosh, you couldn't have pulled this out. Just wondering if you and Norma have ever had a real disagreement.
Microphone.
It's pushed up.
I spilled water over here.
Huh?
I spilled water.
You spilled your water.
Don't worry about it. Just pick up your microphone.
Is it on you or the rug?
It's just a rug.
Oh, it doesn't matter on the rug.
Okay.
No, just let it go. The question is, just leave it. Move your foot over.
The answer is
move your foot over there and pat it down. There, that's all you have
get
to
ready
do.
to if she doesn't start talking.
I know.
Okay, now, let's move on.
Well, this is going to be a disagreement if you don't start talking. You got Evelyn Andrews right here. Good question, Evelyn. Well, I think we've had a disagreement, but I didn't tell you.
I've never told you.
Okay. We're good friends. Sometimes we back off.
It just
Just backs
passes.
off. Sometime we go on that all day shopping trip and looking all around, and you say, I've parked my car on the side street. I'll drive myself home.
Mm-hmm.
I've got all my stuff. We'll help you, Norma. I have it all. I need to get on home.
I've had all I could take.
I know.
Had all the fun I could take.
Okay.
But it's
Well, you said last week, because we had Norma Rose here Jane Tucker here last week, had all that jewelry and stuff. And of course, I didn't say the truth. The first time I did a theater show, I wore a Navy suit. I've been speaking at corporate groups. I wore a Navy suit. And they said, the show next week, you might want to spruce it up a little bit. I put on a pin and wore earrings. I thought, well, I've spruced it up. And then they said, Jeannie, this is show business. And I said, oh, and that's when I got in touch with, Jane and said, Jane, I need some fix up help. So a lot of the stuff that we have out last week is for my theater shows. I don't go to the grocery store like you do. So you go to the grocery store in that, don't you?
Well, not quite, but I do dress up to go to the grocery store.
Put the microphone.
I do dress up to go. My mother always said, you dress up every morning and be ready to present yourself, because you don't know who's coming and where you're going. And so I just sort of get myself together.
Tony, write that down.
My mother told me to wear clean underwear.
I know.
Being an accident.
Okay, but you always look nice. And I've told this here before, but the little boy was a teenager when one of them lived next door. And I came in. He said, Miss Robertson, one of your friends was over here trying to get in your house and trying to get in the doors and all. And I said, did you know who it was? No, but it's that woman who's always dressed up. I said, I know who it is. So hold it up. Tell us. So what are you going to show? And riding, you had to take me somewhere. I had some medical concerns Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then Thursday, you had to take me to Raleigh. And you did. And then I thought she was being nice, offering to take me to Raleigh. Got into the car and said, I'm so glad to have some time with you alone. I have some ideas for your Saturday show.
Exactly.
I think I can improve. I said, what's the problem? She said, well, all the stuff that Jane brought, we don't really wear around here unless it's the Christmas dance or something like that. She said, let me show them how to put on regular things. Okay, what you got?
Well, I love sitting on the sofa last week and seeing all the beautiful jewelry.
And we couldn't get you in, and we didn't know if you were coming and all of that.
And I love jewelry, but some of that I like more simple things.
Okay.
And I was thinking about how I love scarves. I love scarves. So today I bought a few scarves, and in fact, I just wrapped this around. And what I do with scarves is what y'all do with jewelry. I wear the same thing to the grocery store, but I changed my scarf. I have a ball game scarf, a church scarf, a dinner scarf, a play scarf.
You're saying sitting here today, you have more than that on. You have more than that.
Yeah, I have some in the bag over here that I will put them on like y'all did. I sat over there and watched y'all change jewelry. And for the men, I'm so sorry.
But you talk, lead in there.
I'm so sorry, because guys, I know this is not too much fun, and I will not take a lot of time doing this. And Jeannie can keep talking.
Well, I'm just,
you can just put.
Where are you buying this stuff without me?
Well, I just find it. Any thrift store.
Okay, so you've gone from brown to that, and you go to the grocery store in that.
No, I would probably I'd go out to dinner in this. I think I'm really
it's a different
silk
okay.
or something.
And what's your jewelry you got on Norma?
I just got this is water buffalo, and someone gave it to me. It's a water buffalo horn, and it's just one of my favorites.
Is it a cross?
Yes, and it was a gift to me, and it came out of California.
Oh,
yeah. And she may be watching. She sort of watches. But this is.
But you wear a lot of crosses, but you don't usually wear one necklace. You usually wear a bunch of necklaces.
But Jane told me not to overdo that.
Oh,
and I don't want. I thought, But anyway, you just keep telling stories.
All right. No, I'm just telling that. I'm just telling that.
More over here.
It's amazing
Did
that
you
this
say
lady
water
asked
buffalo?
A water buffalo horn. It took me a long time to understand.
A real water buffalo horn?
Uh-huh.
Did it die of natural causes?
I hope. I don't know. But anyway, it's can be tricky. I know that. But it took me a long time to find out what it really was. And but anyway, this is one I think I bought at Ross's department store, but it's really nice.
I know that you go to TJ Maxx.
Uh-huh.
You go to all those places.
But see, look at these roses. Where are they?
Because your name is Norma Rose.
Right
now
here.
that's
look.
Pops it.
It pops it. Look, Norma Rose. I don't know. I could go to the theater.
Tony, go down on the top of my desk.
Is it theater?
And get the AU.
Theater.
The AU
Theater.
on the top of my desk. Now we went in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Jane had something big up there, and we said we're going. we're going to get the clothes. She sent me something to wear because she was so scared what I was going to wear, but you dressed yourself. And then we got up on Saturday morning and went to a flea market in the middle of the street. And the first table had old purses. And I just walked right on by.
I still got those.
I know it. And you stopped and I said, what are you looking at? And you said, I'm looking through these purses. And after about the fourth purse that you put under your arm and looked at, the woman came over to you and said, no more, no more, because you get all good purses. And you knew the difference. And she just was digging through mounds of purses. And I'm just thinking, what are you looking for? Let's get on down here and find some beavers. You know what I'm saying? But do you remember that?
Oh, yes, I remember. It was
She wouldn't let you
Hell's
buy
Kitchen.
anymore.
It was Hell's Kitchen in New York City.
And we were walking. Okay, so then we got, and I'm still going through. Oh,
I had
my gosh,
forgotten
I
that.
can't even lift it up.
Excuse me.
No, you
I've
can't.
been weightlifting.
So we walked on down. I can't pick it up. We walked on down, and Norma said, Jeannie, you're going too fast. You're going too fast. That kiss a little heavy. But she said, you're going too fast. You have walked by in New York City, the Auburn emblem. There were two book things. Heavy. You could lift weights with it. It's AU, the exact thing. And I said, I can't believe that you saw that. I can't believe it. And then a minute later, we passed two nude statues of women that were dancers and sort of scantily dressed. And Jane has those all over her house.
On her mantle.
And on her mantle. And you said, and we ought to take these, Jane as a housewarming. I'm going through the same flea market, but I'm not looking for the same stuff. So we bought both of those, and I gave one to Beaver, and he put it in his office, and one put it down. And then we had, do you remember we had to say, how do we get these things home in our purses? And that was the problem. Now you're pulling out another
one. Yeah. If you just want a little more color, as Tyler Perry would say, to color, whatever you call it.
What are y'all talking about?
Well, in color. Doesn't he say color?
Color.
I said, go ahead and say color.
Color. That's how way her southern accent sounded.
But
okay, now that you have on that one, where would you wear that one?
I'd wear this to dinner. I'd wear it to church. I'd wear it just.
And with that same outfit, all those
Oh
scars.
yeah, I would not change.
It's gonna get dirty.
And guess what? If you keep having these shows, I've run out of clothes. I'm about to go back to the St. John Buttons dress.
Okay,
I got to come back to that.
But
I got plenty of scars.
I took Beaver's bedroom 3 years ago, and on my own, left brain didn't say a word. He said, go ahead if you want to do it. Made it into a closet, and it's packed with junk. Norma Rose, I've seen your closet, and you're never going to give out a clothes. Now, see, you just changed that and turned it.
You can just change it. And if I was sitting in front of a mirror, I could do a little better, and I would, but I'm just throwing it around there. But yeah, you could just let it just
Okay, I have noticed something. I'm going to tell them because you told us one time, and I didn't know exactly what it was. And one little girl wrote and said, I laughed every time you said gusset.
Gusset.
You got a gusset.
This is one of my alterations during the pandemic. I couldn't get in it. So I had to put gussets in. I'm still doing gussets because I have time.
Okay, turn to the side and let them see
I really
the
don't
gusset.
want them to
see it or notice
Yeah,
it. But I noticed it because you pointed it out to me.
It's a big
Are we
gusset.
losing all the men?
It's
Are we
right
losing all the
here,
men? Right
because
there.
I couldn't get in it. It's been 25 years, but it works. So I'm so thankful that I could put pieces in and keep the same clothes.
Now, before we lose all the men who might be watching, all of them, including my friend David Vaughn is watching again today. He told me he would be here, and he calls every time. Norma Rose also knows a lot about football. And so we went for me. Well, her husband was athletic director for 33
Tony knows
years.
as much as I do.
Tony knows, yeah, she may know more about Auburn, but you know about all. So we went to Nashville, all of us, because I was going to be at the Ryman Theater. I was supposed to be there again last week, but that is postponed till next year now. And the Ryman is a historic place that you're just lucky to get to go to. I mean, I've had 2 shows there, and I feel very fortunate. So the Auburn game was on upstairs. So all of our crew, Tony, Tom, everybody left. We all went up and we're sitting in there. I think Left Brain was with us on that trip. Everybody, and your brother and sister, so everybody was pulling for Auburn, and we're sitting in they had a bar room, but they had all these TVs on, and the Auburn game was on. And all of a sudden, a shadow came behind us where we had ordered sandwiches, everything, and we were sitting there watching the game. And it was like you had all skylights, but the sun went behind a cloud. And we all went, what just happened? And we went in the Marriott, and we turned, and the Titan team was behind us. You weren't there.
Yeah.
You were not there, but we didn't realize it. And so,
But I got
they was
excited.
the biggest people you've ever seen, and they were standing beside us. They'd come in there to just see what games were on and so forth. And we said, "Oh my gosh, y'all scared us! You scared us to death. We hope you're pulling for Auburn." And they all said, "No, ma'am, we're not. We're not pulling for Auburn. We're pulling for the other team." And all of them. And then somebody said, "Where is so-and-so?" Who was it? It was one of the Titan players.
Oh, Mariota, the quarterback.
The quarterback.
I was looking for him.
Okay.
I wanted to talk to him.
And they said, "Where is," I'll say, Mariota.
Marcus Mariota.
Oh, and they said, "Oh man, we came in the lobby and some woman came up." We could hear him. Some woman came up and grabbed him by the arm, and he cannot get away. They're talking football. And everyone in our group looked at each other and said, "Where's Norma?" And it was you, because he played at Clemson.
No, he was Oregon.
Oregon.
But Clemson's who we were playing.
Yeah,
Some of their
Clemson.
players
Were from Clemson.
Y'all went
But
to the
I'm just
bar, but I
saying,
didn't.
I'm sure you were down there grabbing that, and they said, he can't get away. Well, he was trying to move toward and then she turned out to know a lot about football. They're down there talking football.
And that reminds me of that.
No, it was.
No, you've been emailing him since then, haven't you?
No,
But
they
for a
lost
while.
interest in me.
Oh,
He's out there now.
But that last
Now they all have the coaches.
so
that last trip to that we didn't know was my last trip. I don't know it was your last speech, but it was my last trip. And
the last one you went on, we hadn't been on another
college
one.
when we went to College Park.
College Station.
It's College Station, and I went to Kyle Field, and I was so excited, and visiting our friends, and I sure hope I go back when they're playing ball.
Well, I'm gonna have some more speeches, I hope.
They may be playing Alabama today in a few weeks. They got a big game coming in, Texas A&M.
Against Alabama.
I think so.
Playing Alabama today.
Oh, I got that right. Excuse
I
me.
rest my case. She knows a lot about scars, but she knows a lot about football too. Is anybody asking Norma any more questions? I know the time is running out on
Well,
us.
I got
What- No, don't move. Don't move. Are you going to change scars
Well,
again?
you just keep talking. I just, because this is, the men won't like this. So go ahead.
Well,
and,
Then throw in something else about football.
this is, okay, let's see.
No, I have one like that.
This
don't
is
you?
like, the animal print. Jane said years ago it would be a classic. It would never go out of style. And I thought, well, that's interesting. I'll just get me a whole lot of these then.
The first time, which camera am I on, Patrick? You got to point me. The first time Jane came for the weekend, and Left Brain went with Elon away to a tennis tournament. And they was gone the whole weekend. It was a perfect weekend. And I had pulled out all of my clothes, belts, old purses, everything. She just could not believe what she saw in this house. And we had barely gotten started till, hello, are y'all here? And it was Norma Rose. And she came up, and Jane, I introduced her to Jane. I said, "Jane, this is my bestest friend. She's probably going to stay here a few minutes." And Jane said, "Fine, no problem." And they've become friends. Meantime, Norma said, "I'm going to just sit in this corner over here, and y'all just keep working on things with Jeannie, and I'm just going to pick up a few free tips, if that'd be all right, Jane."
Yes.
I'm paying by the hour. And Norma said, "I'll just pick up, I've got a tablet here. I just y'all don't pay attention to me, don't pay any." Well, then Jane was telling me how to fix something. And all of a sudden, Norma Rose got out of the chair and came over. She said, "Oh, Jane, you could do it like this," and starts changing what Jane had done. And Jane said, "That would look great."
And one of the first things sitting in that room, and I don't think I've ever maybe never told Jane, but I remember she said, "You wear your jacket, and then, I could have it buttoned up when I came in, because I have a gusset put in it. I can
Yeah.
button this now, just like that." But she said, when you sit down, you relax it. and unbutton it.
Men need to know that too.
Mhm.
You
So
relax that
I
jacket.
do that, and I feel better when I'm eating. Going in the restaurant buttoned up, and then
Now, what did you do with that? Now, made a little neck
I
brace?
just wove it up there like a turtleneck.
Mine would be a bow, like on the old shows.
And you could just let it hang.
Well, Norma, let's give some more prizes.
Okay,
Or
that'd be
first, let's
fine.
answer another question. I did not have any idea what question I was pulling out when it was the woman that said, have we ever had a disagreement? Sometimes we just have to have a little space.
It's better just to go on.
Tony
home.
just goes home.
I go home too. I
Okay.
just go home. Get the feeling.
Sometimes my friends might not think I'm as easy to be friends with as I don't think I'm a bad friend, but you had to get used to the
on
fact
certain days
that I don't talk on the phone all the time.
I
don't do that. Okay. Lou Dawson. What is the most unusual thing you've received at a speech? Well, Lou, I think I answered that earlier because I had brought it up here for show and tell. So let's ask another question. Y'all sent so many good questions. Patrick, your little pop-up Thursday night didn't well, but you're going to be out of town next Thursday. We're going to do it on Friday. I'll have to check my schedule.
that might.
A little earlier, so we can go to dinner after.
We gotta go to dinner.
Oh, we have a guest next
Oh,
week.
you got
we
two
have
guests.
a guest
I'm going on a
next week.
cruise while they're here.
You going on a cruise?
Yeah, because you got two guests coming. I don't have to come.
No, you don't. What cruise are you going on?
Well, I'm just making it up.
Oh, get out of here. What is that? Kathy Hale Henricks, Richs. Well, have you ever considered having Norma Rose as your guest instead of having her pop by? She is a very interesting person, and you and her could probably tell us a lot of good stories of time spent together where we probably could. Well, I'll have her pop in anytime she wants to.
Oh,
Sometimes
I'm a
we
guest.
do
I have
not know.
moved on up. I'm a guest.
Oh, you're a guest. She's a guest. A recurring guest. I just expect one day to be sitting here and she goes by with a lawnmower out there.
If you
in the
can
yard.
come one Saturday, I'll fill in.
Okay, I can do it. You would
I'll
say
get
better
Tony
than
and-
throw up
Tony
instead of
and
throw
Patrick
back.
to help
All
me.
right, Adrian Kafal Child. Adrian Kafal Child. My dog heard you whistling. Okay, so Thursday night, I was doing a pop-up for your show, Patrick. Do you know I'm doing a little pop-up advertising your show every day for you? And I went down into my office, and that's why they started seeing things and asking about it. And I turned it on, and I'm now instigating a new rule. Especially, I want Elaine Dreyer to pay attention. She was the first. She has popped up twice, the first person to ask a question. And I turn it on, and then it doesn't come on right away. I go through all the steps I've written down, and I think I'm doing quite well. But there is a lag time then till I know that I'm on. Wouldn't you say, Patrick? So I started whistling the theme song from the Andy Griffith Show. And then I realized I might have to pay royalties for that. You know, we did another song here and we found out, and I didn't know. So I stopped and I started going. And a lot of people wrote in and said, that was a fight song. That was War Eagle. I said, I didn't know what to do. I just had to do something. And then Elaine Dreyer picked up. So from now on, when I do a pop-up for my show or Patrick's show, the first person who comes on and says we're here wins a book. And so get on there fast as you can. And this is what Adrian Kafal Child wrote. My dog heard you whistling and came running. By the way, if you give me a state, I can just about whistle the state song if they had one. I don't know the ones out west. They don't have songs that you know. Give me a state.
Tennessee.
That doesn't mean we pull for you. We just do know Rocky Top.
I don't know any of that.
I know the stuff. I know the songs.
So
What?
when I used to wait tables,
In Nashville?
yeah, in Nashville, I waited tables with a girl named Felice Bryant. Well, her grandparents were Felice and Boudreaux Bryant, who wrote Rocky Top.
Are you
And-
serious?
And they donated the song to the University of Tennessee, so they own the royalties.
Well,
They also
if-
wrote "Wake Up, Little Susie." Wake
oh
up.
my God. Do at every ball game, every time out, when the band strikes up, good old Rocky Top. Do they get the royalties on that every time?
I don't think it's public domain.
Holy cow. Well, it'll get on your nerves. It will get on your nerves.
Unless you're from Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm not far, but I do it out of tribute to my friend Pat Summit, who was the classiest country girl ever and the best women's basketball.
Just named the #1 song for football. Sports. What am I trying to call
And
it?
I think of Joan Cronin.
Fight songs.
Yeah, fight song. The #1 fight song. Just like.
Well, good
recently.
for y'all. If you got a good one, keep it. We love ours, but we know y'all's. Well, I'll guarantee you. All right, and we know everybody. Everybody. What does this mean?
It's all over.
Means it's over.
It's all yours.
We'll be out of here.
Means you're having to pay the
Yeah,
crew
let me give one
overtime.
more. What'd you say?
Means you're having to pay the crew overtime.
The crew is going to get overtime. Well, that's the easiest money I've ever not spent.
Still zero, isn't it?
That's right. 0 times 0 is still 0. This is the last thing we'll do today. I hope y'all have had a good time, and I hope to see y'all back. We have the Jeanne Robertson humor competition. 3 years. We didn't have it this year. You have had on this stage visiting. They drove up here from Georgia. Debbie Childers, hilarious Debbie Childers. She's been on some shows with me. And next week you will have Tara Brown from Charlotte, North Carolina, who won last year. Tara didn't get a real fair break. She chose to go to Dallas, 1,800 people.
Neil Steele.
The biggest crowd that she had ever spoken for had been 300. She's the queen of comedy in Charlotte, North Carolina. Everybody knows who she is. But then right after the Dallas show, when we were trying to really say, can you be on me with this show? Because Debbie's been on several shows with me, and the COVID hit. So she's coming next week, and y'all gonna love Tara Brown, and spread the word, especially in the Rock Hill and Charlotte area. She has a real job. She's in a PR firm down there, but she is one funny lady. So all of you people from Charlotte in particular, spread the word that Tara Brown is going to be our guest next week.
And be here.
Be here.
Well, when's
She's
Neil
right.
coming?
When who?
Neil Steele.
Neil Steele in the radio's coming in November, and his whole crew's coming down here. That's going to be funny. Okay, the last gift, Terry Blackwell. This is perfect to end on. You are always lovely, Jeanne. Hey, y'all, thanks so much, and we'll see y'all next week. Bye.
She's a heck of a lot of fun, Jeanne Robertson. Oh, she's a heck of a lot of fun, Jeanne Robertson.